ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time.
It's Wednesday morning. It's after 8:30. It's time for the Ask the Doc. Our good friends at Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital, located on Soledad Canyon next to the Regal Cinema. And they are also affiliated with All Creatures Veterinary Center, which is a 24/7 hospital located on Lyons Avenue in Newhall. Good morning, Dr. Stone.
Good morning.
So I have a friend who came into the possession of some kittens, we'll put it that way. I don't remember exactly what happened, whether they were left on her doorstep or whatever, but they were only about 2 weeks old.
Oh.
And so these are kittens that obviously, when they're that young, they're not officially of adoptable age. If you look at it, usually it's about 6 to 8 weeks when cats can officially be adopted and weaned off their parents. So
Right.
there are, if people are going to decide to keep them at that age, there are a lot of things to consider from feeding and care. Can you kind of elaborate on what maybe my friend needs to consider?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work. They need to be bottle fed. So you have to feed them every, 2 to 3 hours with the bottle. You have to wake up throughout the night to feed them. They also can't go to the bathroom on their own. They need to be stimulated. So after you feed them, you have to kind of stimulate them to go to the bathroom.
Is that like turning on waterfall music or reading them stories about Niagara Falls, or how does that work?
You have to kind of wipe them with a little wet washcloth so they'll go, like the mom licks them down there.
So that's why she does that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's definitely a lot of work. I had 2 baby kittens that someone brought in last year that were about 2 days old, and I bottle fed them the entire time, and it was exhausting, but I ended up keeping them. I got pretty attached.
That's the thing, of course.
Yeah.
And it's also even from behavioral type, the cats as they get older, because they don't have that interaction with their mother. There's in some cases, I know people who have gotten cats when they were that young. They kind of pair bonded with the human in a way that's different than kind of normal.
Yeah,
I've seen.
definitely. I mean, and they learn a lot from just following their mother. At the clinic right now, we have a mama cat with 5 babies, and it's a big difference. Just watching them, they're learning to eat. They're learning to use the cat box on their own. And the little babies I raised last year, it took them a lot longer because they didn't have, a mother
They don't
to
have
go
any
after.
provide,
Yeah.
and watching humans is a completely different, not quite the same learning experience. So, and that's the thing too, is all these things you suddenly have to try and in your own human way, replace the mother. And so it's not just feeding, it's also caring. And really, are there medical issues that we have to consider if you come across kittens that are that young?
Once they're that young, they do have a lot of, it's not as easy for them because they have milk replacement. So sometimes they get constipated or get diarrhea. So they do have a lot more issues. However, if you find a litter of kittens and they don't have a mother, then that's the only option, is to bottle feed them and, try your best for them. But they do need to eat very often. Otherwise, their glucose level can go down and they can, get very sick. And you always have to consider, a lot of times little baby kittens that are left out will have fleas or parasites that we have to, get rid of. Otherwise, they won't thrive as well.
I see. And what type of, you're talking about feeding them every 2 hours, what kind of milk should they have? Is this something you can get like at a pet store or something?
There's kitten milk replacement at all pet stores pretty much. It's called like KMR. That's probably the best.
And it's
one.
a little bottle. You don't try to use like, the baby's bottles that you had stored, and you're with the regular size. They're the little, and they've got those as well. I mean, you might even have them, but they're also available at pet stores, the little things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
But talk about care and like even safety. Should they just all be like in one place, maybe in a crate or in a box or something, or what?
Yeah, you definitely want to keep them confined to one little small area, and make sure they're nice and warm because they don't have their mother to get warmth off of. So if it's cold, a little bit of heating pad sometimes helps as long as it's not too hot to burn them, as long as they have an area to get off and on of it. But yeah, it's definitely a good idea to keep them confined because they can be a little messy too.
Yeah, that's true. And especially once they start learning how to crawl out of that box.
Exactly.
You can't find them. They find the most interesting places to hide. We do need to take a break and get to some traffic. We'll be back with Dr. Stone with more kitten questions after this. Dr. Stone, of course, you can always find at Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital on Soledad Canyon next to Regal, 9 to 7, Monday through Saturday?
Yes.
Woohoo! And then also, after hours, you can always take them to your animals to All Creatures Veterinary Center, Lyons Avenue in Newhall. All right, we'll be right back after this.
The powerhouse fire continues to blaze, and 30 homes have been destroyed.
Hello, I'm George Cummings with your SCV News Break.